Good, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. My name is Miambola Mutani Nesco from South Africa. I'm doing my PhD at Wits University under the Department of Pediatrics and Child Health. I'm the second vice chairperson of the Takwimu African Statistical program. Together, I will be moderating this side event with Ms. Lina Pumba, who is the first vice chairperson of the Takwimu African program. Welcome to this hybrid side event of the Takwimu African Statistician that is being held on the margins of the 9th session of the Statistical Commission for Africa. The theme of this side event is empowering young African statisticians, driving innovation for data-driven development in Africa. Today, we have a full menu of topics to discuss, including a session during which statistical Addis will be sharing their own experience and wisdom in statistics and how they view the future of statistics. Before we start, we would like to put some ground rules. Firstly, if you have any technical issues during the discussion, please share them via the chat and a member of our team will try to help you. We ask for your patience to allow for some delays due to internet connectivity. And then secondly, we invite you to participate into the discussion by sharing any questions or comments with the panelists through the chat window. Type your message in the chat box. You can also ask the floor to share your country experience and ask questions. Finally, this hybrid event is being recorded and the recording will be shared on the event website with the presentation. For interpretation, click a global live icon to select your preferred language which you want the presentation to be shared. Without any delay, I'm pleased to invite Mr. Oliver Chimbanya, the Director of the African Statistics, to officially open this session with his remarks. Over to you, Mr. Chimbanya.
Thank you very much, Chair and Moderator. First of all, let me recognize the statistical orders that are here. I think this is the first time they're actually engaging with young statisticians. I think we should give them a hand of applause that they are here to share their experiences with a lot of immense experience that they have. I'm really grateful that they accepted this invitation. I know you'll hear them when they speak, who they are. I will not attempt to introduce them, their titles or their former titles. You will hear them when they speak and you realize that you are in the right hands and that they are the way they look, but they are young and at heart on the statistics. And this is why they're here. This is why you're here. That's one. The second part I wanted to call your attention to, I did a blog very recently, maybe 2-3 weeks ago, on young statisticians. I just been reminded by the chair here. I will send it to him so that you can share. I should have shared that blog, but I think she had given an opportunity to review the blog I did, which is about a page and a half on young statisticians. I think it would be good that you read that blog I did. It's gone international. It's on the ISI website. If you go on the ISI website, you will find it there. Those that you have seen it, yeah. So please have access to that. So we are, but we are very young. I can tell you that. That's why we're able to write those kinds of things. So may I call up you young statisticians, because we are young at heart, so I'm not going to call you colleagues, but really esteemed young statisticians who take into account the statistical orders that are here. It is a profound honor to connect with you today, because I know some people are online, both in person and both virtually, at this gathering of the members of the Takwimu Young Statisticians. As the director of the African Center for Statistics at ECA, I'm deeply passionate about the role that young people like you will play in shaping the future of statistics on our continent. Africa is at a crucial moment in its history. We faced numerous challenges, from economic disparities to climate change, yet within these challenges lie incredible opportunities for growth and innovation. It is you, the young statisticians or young leaders, who are not innovators, thinkers, who will drive the statistical agenda that will inform policy, support sustainable development, and ultimately uplift our communities. The Takwimu Young Statisticians, African Young Statisticians Program was designed with you in mind. It aims to empower you with the skills, knowledge, and networks necessary to take the lead on statistical issues that most of our country. By joining this program, you are not just participants, you are ambassadors in a movement that seeks to harness data and influence meaningful change on the continent. Let me repeat what you already know in terms of the benefit of the Takwimu program, which include opportunities for exposure. That's the first one. Here we are talking about it avails the prospect of engaging in international and continental events. This is how you even find yourself here. Others have gone to the World Data Forum, others go to ISI conference and so forth, at which you can showcase your work, learn from experts, and share insights with peers and around the world. This platform not only elevates your profile as individuals, professionals, but also connect you to the global conversation and about statistics and development. And this is critical because sometimes we go into these things with different kind of motivation, but really is to network and open doors for you in terms of career development. And we have seen in many cases where we have seen people coming through Takwimu, some of them have risen at higher levels. The lady who was managing this, who took over from, before she took over, she's now going to New York as a P3. And we have another one, the gentleman who was here also went to New York. The lady who was here, one has gone to Senegal. You know, so it's really the networking. And paper writing is very critical because you don't want to go to a conference and just go and clap there. I tell people I stop going to meetings where I clap. We go there to contribute. Not just go there and clapping, people are talking, also, what are you bringing to the table? And this is one opportunity that it provides for. The second part is the capacity building opportunities. This includes, among others, participation in workshops, training sessions designed to enhance your statistical skills and knowledge, preparing you for the challenges ahead. From the data analytics, data science, management of innovative project, skills all instrumental in your professional journey. The third part is the mentorship opportunities, and this is why you have statistical leaders. I hope by the time you leave here, you will have identified President Orero as to be your mentor. You will have identified Commissioner Ms. Kanyuka as your mentor. You have identified the ambassador, Samia there as your mentor. She was the head of statistics, but she was just ambassador. You know, when you talk about opportunities, right? We have Jacob there. You want to identify him as he's an international consultant, very, very, very well versed in civil registration and population. You want to make him your mentor. There's Philip Kavish there, the special advisor at the Paris 21. Can you walk out of here? Say, this is my mentor. There's Lamine Diop there, who is, by the way, the second Mahala Nobis award receiver on the continent. There are only two. Professor Ben and him. I hope I'll be the third one. You know, so can you walk out of here and say, look, can you be my mentor? You know, in this area, and there are rules around that. And remember, we had a session on this before, so please take advantage of that. So the Takwimu program offers access to the guidance. You want to give me another? I printed the wrong one. I'm being told I printed the wrong one. Where did I end with the wrong? I printed the wrong. But I said the right things, right? Yes. Okay. But that's very important. Okay, so I printed the wrong one. Goodness me. Okay. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I think I'll continue where I stopped, and I talked about the challenges, which I'm not going to repeat that. I also talked about the journey in terms of the rapid technology advancement on the ever-growing reliance on data. It's imperative on harnessing data. But I think I want to finish one point, the wrong one, because I think there are critical issues there, which I think are important for this particular meeting. So we talked about the Takwimu offers this mentorship opportunity. I think we need to take advantage of that. As I think as a mentor can provide invaluable advice, help you avoid common pitfalls and guiding you towards success. And then, of course, what I said maybe earlier on is about, which is the fourth one, the networking opportunities that the Takwimu offers in terms of creating space to connect with fellow young statisticians, industry leaders. Today you have actually professional leaders in the field that you are connecting with, and building a network that can open doors and create collaborative projects. And networking is also just making connections. And the last one is about the work that we have been doing in EC about modernizing and transforming the national statistical system, which we think is a big piece of work that you could also engage in yourself. So I think that as young leaders, innovators and thinkers on the continent, it's critical that you are part of this significant movement to transform this continent. And I think being tech savvy, you understand things faster. If I have an issue with the TV, I don't have to bother. I don't ask my children to do it, because I would take ages to operate a TV. So you can see not just a TV, even any other gadget. But I think as young people, you have that opportunity. And the meeting that I've just come from the UN OIBC, and I said, look, we do have a network of young statisticians whom we can tap for you to provide, to support you in the work that you do in the countries. A year ago, we wrote to all of them and said, look, we have this set of young statisticians who are hungry to provide support. And some of those UN agencies tapped on the young statisticians. I know South Africa, we gave them 7 or 11 who went to South Africa, the Statistical Office, the UN Statistical Office, the UN Resident Coordinator's Office, in different fellows. I don't know, they ended up being fellows or being interns. I think Nigeria was one of them that also came back to us, and then we had also Somalia. So that offer is there. And for me, what my advice is that don't put money as a forefront. You go wrong. If you put money for me, until you give me 10,000, I'm not joining. You'll be lost. He now works for IMF, if you don't know. Yeah? But if you look at where he came back, he was not working for, when he went there, he was still a young statistician. Through that work, now he works for IMF, the country level. It can happen to everyone else. You remember the speech I gave in Livingstone? It can happen to every one of you. But if you don't put money until you pay me $200, I'm not going to do that. Then you are lost. It's not about money, it's about your career development, it's about your network. I'm sure you will hear a little bit more from my mentor. Let me go back to what it was. I thought it was an official speech. Yeah, so Angela, you made me, I'm lost completely. So today we'll have an opportunity, I think, to explore practical and innovative ways to enhance the statistical development in our nations through innovative ways that will be shared by some of our panelists that are here. One of the key highlights, I think, this event will be the presentation on the guidelines and establishment of Takwimu African Statistician Program. These guidelines are designed to serve as a roadmap, empowering you as young statisticians to take up ownership of your roles within the countries in the national statistical system. I think establishing the strong foundation becomes very critical for the Takwimu youngsters at national level. We still struggle, and I think you will hear from Professor Lamine Diop there that there are gaps. We're not getting information that we need from all countries on young statisticians. And when we do, we don't get the response from the national statistical offices, or indeed even for the national statistical system in the country. Because the young statistician is not just about NSOs. That's one point that needs to be clear. It's not about NSOs, it's about the national statistical system. So that we should be inclusive. We want people coming from the academia, from the private sector, maybe working for insurance, but they're doing statistics, or they could be coming from the bank. That NGOs, it's not just about national statistical offices. And that's important. But sometimes we know that the national statistical office has a much higher upper hand because they do statistics, but we should be inclusive. Get people from the university to be part of that. And that's what we want to do. So additionally, we are thrilled to launch this mentorship program. And this is, in a way, vital in the sense that fosters the culture of learning and collaboration, connecting emerging statisticians. And through the program, I think we aim to bridge the knowledge gaps that is there, share best practices, and cultivate a new generation of leaders, and that's what is key. So as we engage in this discussion today, let us remember that you have the space to contribute the insights that you have a profound impact on our continent through the recommendations. I think I said that in what was not said to be the official speech. So I would like to encourage, as I close, I would like to encourage you to actively participate in today's discussions, engage with the senior leaders that are here, take advantage. Yesterday, the elders were being told how I was pushed out in the National Statistical Office, very young. I became a young acting director at a very young age. Walking into a meeting, they're telling me, is this boy coming in there? And he was then making a joke with my former boss, that how come he looks younger than yourself? So those are opportunities, grab them, grab the opportunity. No one is going to give it to you for free. Eh? You have to work for these things. Nothing, if you get something for free, be careful, something is wrong. Something is wrong. You know, when you sweat for it, you appreciate it. But if you say, no, I want to get something quickly, you know, it goes also quickly. That's what it is. So with that, I leave it here. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Oliver, for those inspiring opening remarks. You have highlighted some key points, particularly the continued growth of the Takwimu program, the exciting new initiatives being launched, and the importance of mentorship for our young statisticians. As we move forward, please feel free to stay in the chat. Your questions and comments are very much welcome. We will now have our first presentation on the guidelines for establishing the National Takwimu Years program by Mr. Sasiri Napo. Mr. Sasiri is an economist at the International Monetary Fund in Togo and the chairperson of the Takwimu African Statistician program. Mr. Sasiri has a strong background in data analysis, tech statistics, and econometrics from the National School of Statistics and Applied Economics in Cote d'Ivoire. Mr. Napo, the floor is yours, and you have 15 minutes. Please stick to the time as allocated. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Nesco. Thank you all, first of all, for joining us during this year's Takwimu session. We are very happy to have you on board. Mine will be to provide some key highlights about the Takwimu guidelines in terms of implementing the National Young African Associations in our respective countries. The objective here is to point out the fact that the Takwimu program, although it's so although the program is being run at a continental level, the main goal of the Takwimu program is to have associations in our country up and running and taking forward the program and its main goal. So this guideline will provide some tips, some key aspects for our members in their respective countries to take into account when undertaking the process of establishing such an association in their respective country. I hope is it okay? Okay. Okay, so you are the one present. I think I'm not the one presenting now. Okay, so just, yeah, we can just move. Okay, thank you, Angela. Let's move. Yeah, so I have some key points that we would like to highlight during this presentation regarding the content of the guidelines. Angela, let's move. So I will start by just giving a brief overview of the Takwimu program. That has been endorsed by the Statistical Commission in October 2022, and that has been has been established to, given the needs for harmonized effort at both continental and national levels, to ensure that our young statisticians are equipped to contribute meaningfully to the national statistical system. So this document provides steps for forming YAS associations at national level, and most importantly, ensure alignment with the global Takwimu YAS main vision and objectives. Next. So let me just remind quickly, the vision of the program is to make YAS, by YAS I mean young statisticians, the cornerstone of transformation and modernization of the statistical system in Africa. And through that, our mission is really to mobilize our young statisticians to support and contribute to this modernization effort. Next. And just to quickly recall the three strategic objectives of the program. The first one is advocacy for YAS involvement in statistical affairs, under which we have key action, and among them we see the facilitation of the development of guidelines for the management of statistical association. That is the main object of this presentation. And we have the second strategic objective, that is to institutionalize the program at country level. And the third objective, that is capacity building and mentorship for the members. So from next. Are you the one? Next. Oh. Okay, so the first aspect is to provide guidance on the main steps when it's undertaking this effort to establish the association at country level. Mainly the importance of having a preliminary assessment, especially the regulatory legal frameworks, and identify key stakeholders. And then after putting in place a steering commission for 5 to 7 members at least, that will undertake the process and also the bylaws. And then after, the third key aspect is the registration, sorry. That will, for the association, because in many countries, this is something that has to be taken into account. So the association has to be registered according to national regulations. That's very important. Next. Let's go, next please. Sorry. I'm a bit confused with echo. Okay, so this is a highlight of the main governance structure of the Takwimu program. And as you can see, you have the executive committee that is at the center, at the continental level, that is backed by the secretariat here in Ethiopia. But most importantly for this presentation, you have the national associations that are connected to the executive committee, but also that have as a secretariat the National Statistical Office. And for us, we believe that is a very important aspect to have in our effort to institutionalize the National Young Statistician Association. So this is a key aspect we really hope that will always be part of the establishment process in countries, so that we have the NSOs as the secretariat of the program or of the YAS associations. Next. So, and then at the national level, we think of at least 4 aspects in terms of structure. You can have an executive committee that will be formed by the president and some other members. Then the secretariat, and as I mentioned earlier, we need to have a focal point in the NSO that will ensure the secretariat of the association. And we also need a board of advisors, mainly our statistical elders, more experienced statisticians that can really guide the association. And last, the committees or some subcommittees to support the main committee, especially for some specific tasks like capacity building effort, research, communication, resource mobilization, and so on. Next. Yeah, so these are three key documents we propose that in undertaking the establishment process, or even in including the Takwimu program in associations that are already running. We have this case. The first document is the main strategic plan of the Takwimu. Currently, the program has a 2023-2025 strategic plan that we are implementing, and its subsequent roadmap. So this should be the main starting document for countries to build their own strategic plans that can have some variation according to their specific needs, but at least we'll have this strategic plan as their backbone and the roadmap. And in addition to these guidelines that will also be useful in during the process. Next. Okay, and so there are also other aspects to take into account, like the legal requirement. I already mentioned that, but in like registering the association, what will be the type? Should they have a bank account? What will be the ethical standards? All these aspects are very important in the process. And also for the membership, what categories of members should they have? Like in some cases, you can have full members, associate members, and students also. That will be part of the association. Next. Yeah, another aspect is resource mobilization, because at some point, the association can need or can be in need of some financial resources, for example, or even human resources from other institutions. So these aspects need to be accounted for, funding sources, how they will manage events within the association, and how to maintain transparency through regular reporting. Next. And yeah, so for the well-functioning of the association, these monitoring, reporting, and communication aspects are also key. So for the association to be very visible, to be very vibrant in the country. Okay, next, please. Yeah, and sustainability and partnership. Yeah, it's always good to have as much partners as possible for this kind of association, and have in mind the sustainability of the association. We don't want to have an association that has been created and 2 years after is no longer there. That will be very unfortunate. So we put it in that these guidelines some sustainability aspect that the associations need to take into account when running the program. Next. So I will conclude just by highlighting some key elements that we think will be part of the next efforts regarding these guidelines. So through the guideline, we try to ensure that the national strategy will be aligned with the overall Takwimu strategic objective, and that to foster consistency, transparency, and professionalism. These guidelines represent an essential toolkit to guide effective implementation of the program at country level. And the Secretariat will make these guidelines available for members in order to allow them during this undertaking this exercise in their countries. And we really encourage members to take these guidelines further and establish the program in their countries. So that being said, I thank you all, and I hope this has been very useful, and that will have a very high audience going forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Napo. I hope you can hear me. So I'll be taking the floor interchangeably with my moderator over here. So just a snapshot of these particular guidelines. What you're calling is, once you have these guidelines, please go through them and try to make them better. I know countries may have a different way of approach, but again, we want a kind of standalone guideline if you're going to use it at the country level for this particular part. So for the members also who are online, also the guideline, you're going to receive it, and please do give us your comments on the same. So please, I know if you have any question in the chat or in the here in the floor, hold the questions, and then we're going to come to that particular part of the questions. Not yet, just hold it. And then we'll come back for the session for the questions and feedback. I now want to call Mr. Nesco to continue.
Thank you, Lina. Now I would like to invite our next presenter, Ms. Khadija Kiam, a statistician with Masters in Applied Statistics and extensive experience in civil registration and vital statistics. She's also the first reporter in the executive committee of Takwimu, YAS program. Ms. Khadi, you are welcome to deliver your presentation on the mentorship program, the call for mentors, which is a critical aspect of the Takwimu YAS program. And please take note that you have 15 minutes of your presentation.
Thank you very much, Director. I have my presentation in English, but I prefer to speak French. Go. Pour le contexte, nous savons que les jeunes statisticiens constituent une masse critique pour le leadership africain sur le plan de la statistique. Leur formation et leur engagement est primordial pour l'agenda de la statistique continentale. Les jeunes statisticiens aussi constituent un pont entre le leadership futur et le leadership ancien. Le renforcement de capacité des jeunes statisticiens à travers le programme de mentorship du programme Takwimu des jeunes statisticiens est essentiel pour permettre à ces jeunes de pouvoir participer aux grands défis sur les indicateurs de développement durable. Angela. Le programme Takwimu a lancé un formulaire d'adhésion en mars 2023. Et à travers ce formulaire d'adhésion, nous avons à ce jour 579 membres qui sont inscrits et qui sont répartis dans les 40 pays de l'Afrique. Aujourd'hui, nous avons la Tanzanie qui a 109 membres, l'Égypte est à 56, mais on note aussi que des efforts de sensibilisation doivent être faits au niveau des pays comme le Niger, le Cap-Vert, Malawi, Sierra Leone et Tunisie, qui se retrouvent avec au moins un membre qui est inscrit sur la plateforme. Nous rappelons aussi qu'il est possible de toujours d'adhérer toujours à ce programme parce que le formulaire est toujours en ligne et qu'il y a aussi le website du programme Takwimu qui permet aussi aux jeunes statisticiens de s'enregistrer. Angela. Pour le programme de mentorship, il y avait une question qui a été posée pour les jeunes qui avaient besoin de mentors. Et aujourd'hui, nous sommes à 371 jeunes statisticiens qui ont émis le besoin d'être mentorés. Et pour ces 371 statisticiens, nous avons 32% de femmes et 68% de jeunes. Le niveau d'études le plus élevé qui a été noté, c'est le niveau d'études du PhD, mais il n'y a que 15 jeunes statisticiens qui ont atteint ce niveau. On a aussi le niveau de master et le niveau de bachelor. Mais la remarque qu'on a, c'est qu'il y a une disparité entre les hommes et les femmes et on se retrouve avec plus d'hommes qui sont au niveau le plus élevé. Donc, on se rend compte que sur le niveau de l'éducation, il y a toujours le caractère de genre qui est émis avec les hommes qui ont plus de niveau d'éducation que les femmes. Angela. Pour les domaines qui ont été souhaités, les jeunes statisticiens souhaitent d'être mentorés sur la démographie, la population, la méthodologie, l'économétrie, l'économie, les mathématiques, la géographie et l'information géospatiale, la santé, le développement, la planification, la recherche, la collection de données, le data scientist et tout ce qui est assurance et qualité de données. Donc ça, c'est les domaines d'expertise souhaités par les jeunes statisticiens pour le mentorat. Pour ce qui est de l'appel à candidature, pour ce qui est du programme de mentorat, à ce jour, le programme n'est pas encore officiel parce que le système de mentorat n'existe pas encore. Mais pour le moment, à travers le secrétariat, les jeunes ont pu bénéficier à des renforcements de capacité. Donc, tous les programmes de renforcement de capacité de la CIA, les jeunes statisticiens reçoivent des mails à travers le mailing list et ils reçoivent aussi des messages à travers le groupe WhatsApp pour participer à ces séances de webinaire ou à ces séances de modernisation. Donc, ils ont eu à participer au webinaire sur la modernisation des statistiques administratives et tout ce qui est recherche et écriture de publication de recherche. Pour ce qui est de l'appel au mentorat, le rôle principal des mentors, c'est un engagement régulier, fournir un mentorat, soit physique ou virtuel, à travers des conférences ou des webinaires avec leurs mentees, pour leur permettre de pouvoir développer leur carrière professionnelle et aussi de relever les défis qui sont devant eux. Il y a aussi la fourniture. Ils doivent aussi leur fournir des feedbacks et des conseils pratiques pour leur permettre d'évoluer au niveau du réseautage professionnel et au niveau de tout ce qui concerne leur formation. Il y a aussi le partage d'expériences, des leçons apprises et tout ce qui concerne le développement professionnel du jeune mentee. On a aussi besoin de mentors qui assistent et qui aident les jeunes statisticiens à accéder à des ressources professionnelles pour pouvoir développer leurs recherches. Ils doivent servir aussi de modèle pour les jeunes statisticiens en les aidant à avoir plus de visibilité sur le plan professionnel et sur le plan aussi du réseautage. Ils doivent aussi participer de manière périodique à des groupes de discussion ou à des collaborations avec leurs mentees pour leur permettre de pouvoir partager leur expérience. Ils doivent avoir aussi au moins 6 mois de disponibilité pour pouvoir s'engager activement sur la possibilité de pouvoir mentorer leurs jeunes mentees pendant ces 6 mois au moins avec un engagement actif. Pour ce qui est de la qualification, nous demandons au minimum d'avoir 5 ans d'expérience professionnelle sur le domaine de la science, au moins 5 ans d'expérience sur le domaine scientifique, sur le domaine scientifique, sur le domaine des données ou des données ou sur tout autre domaine connexe de la statistique. Avoir aussi de solides compétences de communication et de relations interpersonnelles avec la capacité de fournir des commentaires et des conseils. On demande aussi la qualification d'avoir un engagement sur le développement professionnel et l'autonomisation des jeunes statisticiens dans le domaine souhaité par le mentee. Avoir une volonté de consacrer du temps et des ressources pour fournir la croissance et l'apprentissage du mentee. Et pour dernier point, être aligné avec les valeurs et les objectifs du programme de mentorat des jeunes statisticiens. En conclusion, nous demandons à nos aînés de rejoindre ce programme pour façonner le paysage statistique des jeunes statisticiens. On a un lien pour devenir mentor. Donc, à travers ce lien, vous avez la possibilité de pouvoir postuler pour être mentor de ces jeunes statisticiens. Sur ce, je vous remercie.
Thank you very much, for this presentation. And as you all have heard, we are calling on mentorship. And as much as we know we are young, in quotes, from our statistical elders, this is where you're coming in as our mentors and plus more people who are more learned in their areas to come and share their knowledge. So I would like to open now the session for discussion about like 15 minutes. And I would like to give each and every participant who want to talk about 1 minute so that we can have ample time to discuss. So the questions will be directed, the committee and the secretariat will be also partly to respond to these particular questions. So I now open the floor. Okay, so the first gentleman and then yourself next.
Thank you, Chair, for this very interesting presentation. I'm Ben Chirejera from Uganda, and I'm passionate about promoting the careers of young people, having worked at university for very many years. So I want to really congratulate the African Center for Statistics for statistics for establishing this stream in its work, and also some national statistics offices which are providing for young statisticians. Some of them have young statistician programs. However, I have a lamentation, and the lamentation is that really elders, and there are many here, you may not ask them to introduce themselves, but they have been heads of statistics offices, they have been professors in universities. We have really not set the best examples for the young statisticians. I can give you an example. We used to have the African Statistical Association, which we killed, or which died around 1985. And we didn't even go through the African rituals of giving us a decent burial. He died, and we failed to bury it. At the national level, I can tell you that very few countries in Africa have functional national statistical associations. And so really these young people and these associations we are talking about, if we don't have a role model, you know, on the block, it becomes a little difficult for them to really find the trajectory that they are looking for to excel as the statisticians. Then I've also observed my current work, I'm helping many countries in Africa design their national strategies for the development of statistics. And I've discovered actually that many of them don't even provide for promotion of the interests of young statisticians. They don't provide for mentors. They don't provide programs for incorporating and bringing on board our young statisticians in national statistics offices and in statistical programs in their countries. So I don't see at national level, for instance, how an association will operate where the National Statistical Association is not functional. Well, that's the point that I'm making, which really gives us a challenge in implementation of this program at the national level. And finally, our friends in Nigeria have done what no other country in Africa has done. They have come up with a Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria, which is really an advanced form of a national statistical association that requires professional statisticians to be registered, to be accredited, and so on and so forth. My colleague here is the registrar of this body, which has been established by an act of parliament. He may perhaps brief us on it. But the point where we are making is that these are great ideas that you young people are coming up with. And we hope that a few of us who are still around can fall in line and really provide whatever guidance and assistance we can, so that what we are doing becomes beneficial to the profession, but also becomes beneficial to our national development. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. And congratulations for the two presentations. Yes, about the structure of the Takwimu, I realized that there is some focal point in each national statistics office. That is the good point. If really the focal point in each NSO, if that's what really. And one thing that I would like that if it is possible to have a focal point also in each international organization. So now I can say that we have a focal point in IMF, that is our president. We are also the focal point in ECA, Angela. And also, for example, we have the AfriStat, the African Union, FDP. So I think that that's good to have a focal point in each statistics division in that international organization, in order that we can plan some organization and we can plan some tasks to see what is the statistical method that using in that has been using in the international organization, and how we can support them to develop the statistics. My second comment, that is the question. This question is for the second presenter. Pour cette question, j'aimerais savoir quand est-ce que ça va commencer le programme de mentorat. On a parlé effectivement, c'est un bon programme. Maintenant, j'aimerais savoir quand est-ce que ce programme va commencer réellement et quelles seront ses implications sur les statistiques au niveau des NSO et au niveau des organisations internationales.
Thank you very much for the question. Since this is a hybrid, allow me to take also one question before I come back to the physical online. I don't know whether Hussein G. Gangwe can hear me. You can take the floor. Hussein? Hussein, the participant online, can you hear me? You can take the floor, please. In the interest of time, because I can see coming. Yes. Let me first of all take the floor on the floor, Prof, and then I'll come back to you.
Thank you very much. This is a good initiative. I can see some of the young and no longer as young YAS members here across the table. I think one thing that we've done is a lot of starts and stops. But having started and stopped, I think there are core lessons that emerge from that, and organizing ourselves in this kind of way is very useful. And one of the things is to seek and catch on all opportunities that emerge and strengthen this kind of process. The team that we started off with in 2007, a number of them are in positions of power. I was in Rwanda a few days ago, and Smakula and Abela, yes, no, not Abela, but particularly. I was surprised they had 30 young African statisticians organized since we started. And one thing that was very interesting was that basically those that I met had an interest in quite a number, a range of statistics, but they were largely in the humanitarian space, and probably because of what Rwanda was. So we have to cast our net quite wide. But in the process, I've also come across an innovation by someone who's based in the US, he's Nigeria. He works with chi-squares. Yeah, you just Google that. We are working together on chi-squares, which basically it's a very useful tool to go through the research program, research, run the research, write your proposal instead of spending so long writing your proposal, you can write it. And he has introduced this to universities, but I think the young African statisticians can popularize it quite well. So it's great to see more here and there. Wherever I go on the continent, I find that team of people that we started with. But your network and the spaces of influence that we find should be the platform that we use to get the younger ones and so on. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Let me pick one more question on the floor, and then now we can look at the yeah, you can go ahead.
Merci beaucoup. Je voudrais donc féliciter les présentateurs et aborder deux aspects. En ce qui concerne le mentorship, donc j'ai inauguré une nouvelle forme. Donc, depuis le mois d'avril de cette année, j'ai proposé au directeur général de la démographie de servir comme conseiller à temps partiel, bénévole, sans rémunération. Donc, ils m'ont donné un bureau au sein de la nouvelle direction de la méthodologie statistique, la coopération et de l'innovation. L'année dernière, nous avons élaboré la 4e stratégie nationale de développement de la statistique du Sénégal, qui prévoit dans son plan d'action plusieurs réformes à opérer, notamment sur le plan institutionnel, la révision de la loi statistique et ses décrets d'application, et la rationalisation de l'organisation du système statistique national. Donc, le directeur général de l'agence a créé un comité de suivi qui est chargé de ce travail, de faire élaborer des nouveaux textes, et je suis membre de ce comité. Donc, comme j'ai un bureau là-bas, tout statisticien, anciens, jeunes et moins jeunes, peuvent venir me consulter. C'est ce qui se fait. Ce que j'appelle le mentorship collectif. Donc ça, c'est un point. Deuxièmement, en ce qui concerne les associations, je ne sais pas si pour le moment il y a une branche de Takwimu au Sénégal, mais je suis prêt à donner des conseils en ce qui concerne la manière de mettre en place une association nationale de jeunes statisticiens, préparer les statuts, règlements intérieurs et autres documents. Donc, comme nous n'avons pas beaucoup de temps, je m'arrête là. Merci.
Thank you very much for this contribution. Allow us to now respond to this first session of questions. And probably I can start before giving my team to respond. There's one of the participants who mentioned on the issue of making the Takwimu be part of the NSDS, which has done the NSOs, which is true, because if you don't have it as part of the NSDS, then even the support becomes very difficult. And speaking from Kenya, I come from KNDS, the NSO in Kenya, and without having the association be part of the NSDS, it becomes even very hard to convince anyone that you need the association, you know. So I think that's one thing that we need to carry home back, or we take it back home, that we need to introduce that. And even the issue of mentorship, because I know mentorship link will be shared, but then again, that is for this particular group of Takwimu, but it's also something that needs to cascade down into countries in terms of putting it in the NSDS itself. And trying to bring the young statistician on board. I think from the beginning of this particular meeting, we have been talking about innovation. We have had chances of listening to countries that have done hackathon and different kind of innovations. And all these innovations can also be scaled up from these particular associations. We can hear what the young statisticians have to offer, and we can be able to support them one way or the other. So I'll give Sasir to maybe respond to some of the questions.
Thank you very much, Lina. I just want to second what you said, especially regarding what Professor Ben highlighted, the issue with national statistical associations, and that's really true. On our side, we are thinking a way where at least something can start from the youth. And if from that effort from youth, they are able to grow the association, that will become a national statistical association at the end. That will also be a very good success story, I will say. But I fully understand the point, and that's true. It's quite difficult in our country, and I think most of us we see that in our respective countries. But we really hope that with this movement, with this Takwimu program, we'll be able to merge all these efforts at senior, junior level to be able to have something that will be more sustainable. And that's very, very critical for the program. The other aspect is regarding focal point in international organization. If you look at the structure, the governance structure, we have focal point in international organizations. So it's provided, but in concrete way, I can't say today that we really have them. Yeah, so this is really a continued effort that we are making. And we are very happy to have our elders here that I'm very sure will be for us a starting point. Thank you. Kadi will just...
Merci. En fait, moi, je voulais juste ajouter un point. Merci, doyen, pour le témoignage. Au Sénégal, effectivement, on a une association de statistiques qui existe depuis 1974, je pense, qui est très ancienne, mais qui ne fonctionne pas et qui n'est pas membre du programme Takwimu. Je pense que ce serait l'occasion, aujourd'hui, de pouvoir capitaliser sur votre expérience et de mettre l'ANSD au niveau du programme Takwimu pour avoir un point focal qui pourra représenter l'institution de statistiques au niveau du programme. Pour ce qui est du programme de mentorat, comme je l'ai dit dans la présentation, le programme n'a pas officiellement commencé, mais le renforcement de capacité des jeunes statisticiens est un point essentiel au niveau du programme Takwimu. Et c'est à ce point que le secrétariat a eu à faire beaucoup de renforcement de capacité des jeunes statisticiens. Mais comme on l'a dit, on est en phase d'évaluation et ça, c'était une expression de besoin. On a utilisé les données du formulaire d'adhésion pour avoir au moins une idée de ceux qui veulent être mentorés et sur quel domaine ils veulent le faire. Donc aujourd'hui, c'est l'occasion pour nous de pouvoir sensibiliser tous nos aînés pour pouvoir s'enregistrer à travers ce formulaire et permettre à ces jeunes-là d'être en contact avec un senior statisticien pour leur coacher de manière ponctuelle et régulière sur leur domaine d'expertise. Merci.
Thank you very much. much. Allow me to close this particular session for now for the Q&A, because we still have one presentation elders, and we'll come back. For the ones who are online, the questions that have been posted have already been responded. Not the ones that are yet, will still come back to that. So I would like now to call Nescott.
Thank you, Lina. We will now have the third presentation on the proposed recommendation from the young statisticians to the 9th StatCom-Africa. This will be led by Mr. Mahmoud El-Sarawi, who is an economic statistician who has published some papers in various statistical fields. He's also a founder and the general director of the Egyptian Young Statistician Association. Mr. Mahmoud, over to you. Please take note that you have 5 minutes to present the recommendations and 10 minutes for the discussion and the reactions from the participants.
Hello, Madam Chair. Hello. Yeah, I don't know whether I should come in based on before the next program, based on the issues raised by Professor Ben Kerr about the Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria, or would that be done after this?
Yeah, that will be done after.
Afternoon. I will share with you and present the recommendation to the 9th StatCom-Africa. The first recommendation urges national statistical offices to implement the establishment of national committees of Takwimu Young Statisticians to run the agenda of the Takwimu Young African Statistician Program at the country level. Second one, calls on national statistic offices to further support to the Takwimu Young African Statistician Program by appointing a focal point to coordinate and liaise with the executive committee of the Takwimu program at the regional level. Third one, encourages national statistical offices to dedicate a budget share to support the activities of the National Takwimu Young Statistician Association. The first one is requests national statistical offices to support Takwimu National Young Statistician targeted initiative in developing innovative solutions to address contemporary data challenges through innovation hubs, hackathon, mentorships, capacity building programs, and fellowship opportunities. This is our fourth recommendation, and we are welcoming with your thoughts and feedback. Thank you very much.
We can present them later on. This will have it. I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I think the recommendations are fine. And probably don't see recommendations before. And things fail. the important thing is to find means of verification and the means of activism to ensure that this happens. You are lucky, and I made this point that a number of who started around 2006, 2007 are now in positions of power. We must leverage those positions of power. It's very difficult in a statistical organization that is focused on producing things to say that this is our young African statisticians that do this. The head of statistics is not even the head, but the head supports this thing. The guy who is the manager in the middle says, by the way, we need this release, this thing of yours of young statisticians. Now you have to have a way of making those things useful and usable to the managers, and yourselves have to look at those things that have major bottlenecks. So in Egypt, you were there in the office of General LJN, and he was driving this, and whenever we meet, we talk about these programs. But in other offices, things are different. So you need a structure that will ensure that these things are done. So the means of verification are very important, not as part of the implementation plan of the recommendations of the science.
Sorry. I'm saying, since we have some elders, we have the elders here. So, proposition when it comes to have a field and their recommendations. Okay, I can give the floor to yes.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Christopher Kaufo from Nigeria. I'm currently the registrar of the Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria. We didn't just come as a Chartered Institute. We had the Nigerian Statistical Association that was formed in 1976. And it was basically to promote the theory and practice of statistics in Nigeria. And we went ahead, but governing bodies, successive governing members have advocated the need for us to have a chartered institute that will accredit statisticians. That will also be a way of building capacity for young statisticians. But this never materialized because of I know it happens in many African countries, the fact that statistics is really relegated to the background. And so most people who should have been able to enable us have a legislation on this never cared about it. In fact, in 2001, when we were launching when we were celebrating our Silver Jubilee, we launched the CSON, that is the acronym for Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria. But that still did not work. In 2007, we organized a public hearing on that, trying to convince the legislators. It didn't work. Until 2014, we also got the buy-in of the members of the Senate and House of Representatives. And we prepared a bill. Unfortunately, our president didn't assent to it. And we kept on until 2003, when the president assented to the bill. And so we now have a bill backed by Parliament, an act of Parliament that establishes the Chartered Institute of Statisticians of Nigeria. And what is this all about? it's a way of trying to accredit statisticians, to make statistics more professionally focused. In fact, before now, Nigerians only had access to that by going to take exams of the Royal Statistical Society of London. And so in trying to fashion out our own and make it best in class, we looked at the Royal Statistical Society of London, the American Statistical Association, the Hong Kong Statistical Association, the Canadian Statistical Association, and then the Statistical Society of Australia Incorporated. And with this, we came out with what I can call a robust institute, you know. So we now have an institute that can accredit statisticians. If your entry level should be a registered statistician, you have to have a BSc in statistics or its equivalent. And even those who are not originally statisticians are welcome, so long as you have interest in statistics. But for those people, we have also created a path. You can take some sequential exams. We have the O-level, the ordinary certificate, which is the foundation level. The intermediate level, you gain the higher certificate. And then at the tertiary level, the higher level, you get the graduate certificate. But right now, we have started the process, and we have formed a number of committees, including the accreditation committee, the membership committee, the Women in Statistics and Data Management Committee, and a whole lot of other committees that will be responsible for ensuring that the activities are carried on properly. And then, for you to qualify, we have two professional qualifications, the A-Stat and the C-Stat. The A-Stat is an associate statistician. For you to gain that, you just need to be a member for 2 years, having your BSc and all that. After that, you gain the A-Stat. But for you to become a chartered statistician, you have to have worked in a statistical role for at least 5 years. And then you take the sequential exams after paying the necessary fees. And if you pass, you get the graduate certificate that now qualifies you to be a chartered statistician. But we don't even stop at that. We also have the CPD, the Continuing Professional Development Program, where people are also, we've been talking about mentoring here, where people are mentored, and then people also are encouraged every 5 years to further renew their accreditation. In that way, we want our members to continually improve themselves without relaxing, as a statistician, having gained the chartered certificate. And we want it to be like any other association, like in our countries. We have the chartered accountants, we have the other professionals. So also, this is trying to make people see that statistics is also a profession, and that people can actually leverage on this and also enhance their career prospects, both in the. And one thing that is also good, which we did, our structure, we have 15 members as the governing structure, and we have 6 government institutions. One, the National Population Committee, the chairman responsible or a representative. We have the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria or the representative. We have the Minister of Education of the representative. We have the minister responsible for national planning. We have the head of service, so that when we finish, we can tell the head of service, give these people this stage in their career development. And we also have one other institutional member. So
sorry to interject. We are running out of time.
Okay. Maybe. So in a nutshell, this is what we have done. And then we also have the highest level, the fellowship, but that can be acquired given your level of contribution to the statistical community. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We don't take that for granted. It's full of experience, and I think that's a good way of going. I always wonder whether statisticians can ever be chatted in any way. And I would imagine even inclusion of data scientists or even data analysts one of the things that we have going forward. But it's something that we can always have a discussion, and even other discuss with you, maybe over the tea break or any. So thank you very much for sharing that. So allow me to enter in the next session where we have now the statistical elders sharing their experience and wisdom to us as the young statistician. And I would likely to request the elders to at least take 7 minutes. I know you have the wealth of information, but due to the interest of time, and also we can have a balanced kind of discussion, please take So I'll start with Ambassador Samia Zakaria, who is the Ethiopia's first female Director General. And she has over 30 years of experience, renowned for advancing Ethiopia's statistical capabilities alongside countries like South Africa and Egypt. She has elevated Ethiopia's use of statistics for informed policy making, which has positioned her as an influential ambassador across Africa and the Middle East. And we all have the honor to have her here. So, Ambassador Samia.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here. After missing for so many years from my statistics community, I see all my friends, my colleagues, all of us are in the elders now. We're happy to be elders anyway. This is a good opportunity. We were once young statisticians, so now we are in the elders. So we are really happy. I'm really happy to be around, and I'm happy to invite me to share my experience. My experience is, as you know, I've been there for a long time, but what I would like to share is how the young statisticians, how we empowered our young statisticians in the CSA, now it's ESS, I think, Ethiopian Statistics Service. So I call it still CSA because I'm still attached to my CSA, my previous CSA. Anyway, so I just would like to share my experience, especially in digitizing statistics data, where we have a long way from IBM to digital. So I just want to go through. Maybe some of you, the youngest, don't know what IBM punch card. So we know. So the importance of generational continuity, including statistical data capturing, processing, archiving, and the documentation system of Central Statistics Agency could be taken as a good example. Due to this impact in all fields of statistics, the progress of digitizing statistical data in general is considered in my presentation now. So the progress of digitizing data processing is the effort made by our elders to progress from IBM punch card system to IT data-based data collection, processing, archiving, and dissemination can be a showcase. The progress and the development was very slow and gradual compared to the current digital era, where changes happen quickly nowadays. An IBM system 3, which was only 12K CPU mainframe, which accepted data from 9-column punch card, has been used in 1970s. So I'm just taking it back. And then we migrated to an HP mainframe, which was very great improvement at the time. The system enabled to process various surveys, including the first population housing census of Ethiopia in 1984, in which the data entry itself took for several years, having hundreds of data entry clerks And then we migrated. In 1994, the introduction of standalone PC, now PC came along. This was another milestone for CSA that was used for the second population density census. In this system, the data entry alone took more than 2 years, much less than the first one. Still, we had so many data entry clerks. But we used this standalone for other surveys. It has also its constraints due to constraints of resource sharing and security issues. Then in 2004, the necessity for establishing a local area network was realized, and the agency had put a strong IT infrastructure in place. This is where we move to digitizing. Then subsequently in 2007, scanning of census technology was applied for the third population housing census, which has expedited data capturing, which took only 6 months. And the census data processing, analyzing the production of census data took almost 1 year. So you see that our progress. Nowadays, the CSA is able to introduce digital data collection tools for most of its surveys, including in continuing the legacy of statistical elders to improve the timeliness and the quality of statistical data. This is how we came, from IBM onto electronical digital data collection. So the establishment of the central data bank to archive all documents, micro and macro data was also made available. So what did we do? So as a general manager of the Central Statistics Agency at that time, with more than 300,000 staff members, we used to undertake between 10 and 12 national surveys annually, which gave me the opportunity to work with talented young statisticians who are always eager to bring new technology to improve data processing. My strong support and the continuous follow-up to build the capacity of young statisticians helped the agency to sustain its initiatives to progress despite the high turnover of well-trained young statisticians. With the financial support of development partners and the government, every year, 15 to 20 professionals used to get opportunity to pursue their education at master's level, both locally and abroad, with the aim of human capacity. Otherwise, we couldn't have, survived due to high turnover. Once you work in statistics, everybody wants you, because I think our elder statisticians know that very much. Still, it's the same. So, and then the progress of the CSA, the progress in the section of CSA under my leadership, especially in IT program, could not have been realized and maintained without the dedication of IT young statisticians and the strong support of the government. Facilitating the participation of young statisticians in various workshops, seminars, and short-term trainings organized by different bodies, both in country and abroad, helped them to network and learn from their colleagues. Continuous on-job training and mentoring of staff members helped to improve and sustain the initiatives to progressing overall progress of the agency by empowering young professionals. So this is, I think you have been talking about this mentoring, training, networking. That's what I've been doing, I think. So that's why we try to move from one age to another one. So my second part of this presentation is key strategies to empower young statisticians, mentorship, knowledge. I think you have been all discussing these issues. So I don't think I need to go into all this. Embracing technology, training and skill development, promoting statistical technicians. These are the areas we want to, all right. Then the core wisdom of elder statistics, a lesson handed down by our elders is unwavering commitment to data quality and integrity should be taken as a wisdom of statistical elders. I think that's what we need to work on. adapting, innovating the global methodologies to fit in African context should be considered as the core wisdom of statisticians at all levels, including young statisticians. For example, the wisdom of adapting global methodology to fit in estimating agricultural statistics. By the way, I'm an agricultural statistician. That's why I'm inclined to this one. Of data small holding could not, we could fit the methodologies into this small data holding data is the core wisdom of statistical elders. And then the challenge of the young statisticians is mainly, as we know, budget constraints, limited data, and infrastructure issues, and others. So the solution, I think, young statisticians need to be resilient and resourceful to overcome challenges by using lessons from elders who managed with limited resources and the skill still achieved great impacts. Young professionals should also honor traditional methods while not shying away from innovation. Elders can guide them in navigating the balance. I think this we have been discussing this afternoon. So building supporting capacity, building supporting statistical community. These are also participating and engaging in regional international networks. As we know, like we have ASSD, Young African Statistician Forums, Global Float platforms, and others. So it will be beneficial to come up also with collaborative projects between academicians, statisticians, statistical associations, statistical elders, and young professionals where both sides could learn from each other. I think this is what we have been discussing so far. Setting knowledge sharing platforms such as online forum, collaborative tools where knowledge could be shared freely with the elder generations. Looking forward, a vision for African statistics. The long-term goal, we should focus on data quality in innovative methods. And the role of young statisticians as future leaders should continue to champion data-driven development of the continent. Young statisticians should take up the mantle, learning from the past while innovating for future, encouraging to seek mentorship, continue their education, and contribute to the statistical data. Concluding, to summarize my points, learning from elders, embracing technology, building network, committing to data quality. And then I will end my talk with a note of optimism, emphasizing that the legacy of statistical elders will empower a new generation to shape a brighter future for Africa. I thank you.
Thank you very much for that, those piece of words that you told us. And I quickly picked the short of the issues of data quality and integrity, and also touching on the resilience, and being resourceful. I know every time we hear budget constraints, but we need to be resourceful in terms of skills, in terms of using these. And where I even like most is the use of the tradition. So, and as much as we are coming up with the innovation, it should more or less complement what the people are doing without going away. Innovation should more or less. And as history, we know, is more innovation than anything. So this is something us as youth progress, learning from what was done earlier and moving forward what we can do. So let me call in the next elder, and then after we have all the elders. Our next elder is Dr. Zhao. Do I say Zhao? Joao. Okay. He holds a PhD in economics and has directed multiple national demographics. We're playing a pivotal role in Mozambique's statistical and social. You may have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much, moderator. I'd rather stick with my written paper. Otherwise, I'd be emotional and spoil all day talking about my former job. Thank you for inviting me to this session to share my experience as a former head of Mozambican National Institute of Statistics since inception, 1997, till when I have retired from the public sector in 2015. So I spent 19 years dealing with the NSS. So what I want to share is particularly in the field of leadership management during the process of implementation and development of a national statistical system in Mozambique. Before 1997, official statistics were produced and disseminated by the National Statistics Directorate within the Planning Commission and other government line ministries without any kind of coordination or harmonization. So the assessment request by the government conducted by a team of international consultants in 1993, I think 2 of them are here, ended up with the diagnosis of the situation, from which they proposed a roadmap to the establishment of statistical system which could respond to the users' needs in terms of official statistics. This process took more than 3 years. Someone is not wanting to listen. So it took more than three years to complete. One outcome of the process was the approval of a Statistical Act by the Parliament in 1997, which established the Mozambican National Institute of Statistics and the National Statistical System for the country as well. And defined the organs belong to the system, the role of each one, giving the National Institute of Statistics the leading role of the whole process. This is one thing very important for what I'm saying later on. So we had one president and 2 deputies, 3 of them, 3 appointed by the head of state and sworn in by the president of the republic. So by the current Statistics Act, the entire process of official statistical production is coordinated by National Institute of Statistics, NSO. It includes those collected, processed, and disseminated by some line ministers. The central bank is defined one of the organs of the national statistical system, which is responsible for statistics in their own field. So the expenditure to bring here is the process of strategic planning. So the first strategic plan covered 1998-2002, which was concerned with mission, vision, and objectives agreed, building the National Statistical System foundations. Among them, I may highlight human resources development, which Samia touched well in this presentation, in her presentation, was one of the major weakness found by diagnosis exercise, was human resources. At the time, less than 8% of national statistical systems hold a degree. 8% at the time had hold a degree at the time. So by the end of 2015, at National Statistical Institute headquarters, we end up to have 60% of the staff complement with the university degree, and 40% of regional staff. We have 11 provinces, 40% of them with the university degree. Remember that starting from 8%, we end up with these figures at central level and provincial level. During this period, the process of literacy and institution image to build confidence and prestige in national statistical system and National Institute of Statistics in particular gained emphasis. Media played a very important role in this regard, and also to the data dissemination as well. We hired an experienced national journalist with 10 or 15 years experience to lead this process of dealing with the public. He helped us to improve our communication skills and tools. I'm raising here communication skills. Some of us, we don't have these skills as statisticians. We do good jobs, but good things, but we can't communicate. So far goes time which the producers of official statistics consider themselves beyond suspicion by simple fact belonging to the state. Indeed, the second strategic plan was focused on quality and sustainability, following international standards, definitions, and classifications. The national professionals took more responsibility on the entire process of statistical production, assuring sustainability within NSS, National Statistical System. By accomplishing this objective, enabled the National Institute of Statistics shifting from long-term expatriate consultants to short-term consultants, moving towards desired technical autonomy. The short-term consultants were assigned to statistical auditing, planning, assessment, sampling design, IT-specific things, and training on the job training particularly, not training, giving lectures, etc. On-job training all the time. Those short-term consultancy missions. During the period of 2012, the third strategic plan was implemented, focusing on the higher frequency, detailed and the quality official statistics, both at national and the provincial level as well. So, and the process goes on. What I found to be things common to share with you, I like few of them, not all I found out. Starting with evaluation, a proper evaluation done by yourselves with assistance of international experts. To seek where we are, what we want to achieve, staff, their skills, qualifications, etc. We know I think we know all this, with involvement of all stakeholders, both at the national, international institutions, and partners. Partners have to be involved from this starting stage. Users needs oriented process, which means taking them on board during the entire process. Permanent dialogue with them. So through surveys, through seminars, through other things. So the costing exercise leading to prioritization of the objectives, also involving all the stakeholders. And then funding from both from the government and from the corporate partners. So this strategic plan has to be approved at higher level, at Statistical Council, then which is the organ who supervise and govern the entire statistical system. So in preparation of those meetings at the High Council of Statistics, we have a High Statistical Steering Committee led by the head of Statistical Office. As I underlined this, who is leading the steering committee on statistics is the head of Statistical Institute. So it's 3 times a year to evaluate the stage of implementation of these plans using indicators Pali mentioned. We can measure to see what is the verifiable object indicators. And also to look at the financial and auditing reports to see the use correct of the money put in these programs. These meetings are attended by top managers, representatives of 9 ministries, and cooperating partners. Apart of these main features, I will end passing my thinking that legal framework was crucial to this NSS development in Mozambique. Also, the National Institute of Statistics being always on the driving seat. And then they take all these users on board to deliver what they intend to get from us. So internally at the National Statistical Institute and the NSS at large, the permanent involvement of staff at all levels gave them the opportunity to express their views, opinions, required training and skills, motivation, and sense of belonging, key ingredients to success. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for bringing us the history in Mozambique and the quick pointers to just pick is the whole issue of having a strategic plan, bidding all, and touching on the issues to do with the evaluation, the partners' involvement, and especially for partners' involvement. We find ourselves starting to work, and then when we're stuck in the middle, it's when and if they are involved earlier on, it becomes very easy, and we don't have to waste our time or even resources trying to work out. So now I would like to call in Kayuka, hoping that who is a statistician with over 30 years of experience and has served in senior management strategic leadership positions for over 20 years. She is a retired commissioner of statistics. She was the head of Malawi National Statistical Office. And she holds a Master's of Science degree and she has been participating as a local.
Thank you, and good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to share my experience. So the approach I've taken is slightly different. I'm going to share my experience to try to motivate someone who's just joining the National Statistical Office of whatever country. So I joined the National Statistical Office in 1983. It's a long time ago. I worked in the National Statistical Office up till 2023. So you can subtract. I was there for many, many years. And that resilience, that patience may have contributed to my reward at the end where I was then head of the office. During my tenure as Commissioner of Statistics, I was there for 8 years. And during that tenure, I managed to raise the budget, to convince Treasury to raise the budget for NSO 10 times. So that was something phenomenal, unheard of, but I managed to raise that budget allocation. I also managed to convince the government to raise the rank of the Commissioner of Statistics, the necessary, the required sensitization meetings and so on, and help of international organization, ECA, we brought in to help us. So we raised the profile of the head of the office to PS level. So as we speak now, the Commissioner of Statistics is at par with NAPS Principal Secretary in the ministries. So that's what I managed to achieve in my tenure of 8 years. I will also talk about the importance of training. I joined the office as a statistician with a bachelor's degree from University of Malawi. I later on was sent to do a master's program at the University of Warwick. In between the years, even after, I was taken through the training, on-the-job training. When we joined the office, I remember initially, I found statistical clerks who were doing some coding, manual work. I think NSO went through the same, Malawi NSO went through the same process Ethiopia and NSO went through, where we're doing manual coding and then the IBM data processing and so on. So for me to learn the job, I had to learn even from statistical clerks. So it's that humility which helps you later on to be able to supervise them. So you'll be coming in the office with knowledge, with theory, but you have to learn the practical work. And that is something which you have to learn on the job. What I noted throughout the period is that ladies are not very keen to learn new skills, IT, data processing. Because when we joined the office, there was a data processing unit separate from the office. Computers, there was a computer department which was doing the processing. But we realized there were problems. So there was an initiative to train the statisticians to do the data processing themselves. And the ladies usually shunned the new skills. So I would really want to encourage ladies to do the on-job training, but also be able to acquire skills even now. Now there are online courses. You don't have to wait for someone to come teach you. You can even learn some of these online courses. So data processing expertise is very critical as a statistician. Although you may have a separate data processing unit in your country, it is important to understand the programs and be able to interpret proper interpretation of the results. Field work is very exciting. When you are a statistician, you want to go to the field, and the remuneration is good because you get DSA. Compared to your salary. Field work was giving me 3 times my salary. So you go in the field, even at senior positions, people want to be in the field because they get 3 times their salary. But it is important to sit down in the office, do data processing, do analysis, come up with the results. Because the people who've given you money, like government, the people who've given you money, donors, they want a report. And that report has to come out. So, very critical. I have only 1 minute. Okay, well, it's giving me 1 minute. Okay, I'll quickly go through. The other important tip is to be interested in other divisions' work. I found that when you are a demographic, you are not able to talk about CPI or prices. You go, they ask you, you are attending a meeting, a media person asks you, what's the inflation rate? It's not my division. No. So you should be able to not only know these other statistics, but you should be able even to explain exactly how the inflation rate is calculated. You should have those basics as a statistician. And you should also be able to, if you are an economic statistician, you should be able to explain why gross enrollment rate is different from net, and why one should not be over 100. All that you should be able to do. So I realized that over time, you need all these tips as a statistician, especially if you're working for government statistics. You should be able to do all these things. Because eventually, when you rise up in the ranks, you have to know all this. As a commissioner of statistics, I came through the national accounts. Then I had to do prices. As head of economics division, statistics division, I had to be a master of everything, industry statistics, prices, and so on. By the time I'm deputy commissioner, I now had to master demographic statistics. And I had to learn to read demographics. How do people calculate mortality? This is information which you have to know as a statistician, because you can't say, when a media person is coming to you as a government statistician, asking questions, you can't say, hey, I'm not an expert, please. You should be fluent, be able to speak about employment rate. Why is employment rate like this? And so all the definitions of employment, you should be able to master all this. And final, your last minute. Final. As statisticians, we don't have the soft skills. We don't have the soft skills. Leadership. I remember I lost but someone else who was not as qualified academically as me overtook me in an interview because he had just gone through the management course. I'm telling you, this person didn't even have a degree, but they gave him the higher position because he had just gone through management course and he was able to differentiate between a supervisor and a leader and a manager. To me, and these are not obvious questions. They are not. They'll ask you what is the difference between a leader and a manager? Are they really different? As a statistician, you don't know whether they're different. So these are things which they are there. Leadership, soft skills, leadership, presentation skills, and so on. These are things which you acquire by yourself. You don't need to be trained. You can actually, these things now, you people are lucky, they are online, you can learn, you can read books and so on. So please, be statisticians who are also leaders, who are also managers, who are conversant with all these. That's what I wanted to ask. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I think you have hit the nail on the head. Most of us as statisticians, we get to know what the other sections are doing when we are going for interviews. That's when we get to read what is agricultural statistics, the CPI, and all those things. And the other thing is on the issues of soft skills, and especially even communicating statistics. We'll do all the analysis and all that, but trying to relay this information to someone who has no statistics background becomes key. And lastly, also the issue of female. Now being female, of course, I have to touch on this. We'll run when it comes to doing field work. You know, we want that. We want to go to whatever county you're going. But when it comes to these analyzing the data, cleaning it, even if you've collected through the tablets and all that, we want to take a back seat and leave the men. And I don't know whether we noticed yesterday in the first meeting or the seniors who were on top yesterday at the panel, I don't think there was anything. So it's something we are taking up on ourselves. We need to do something, we need to learn, we need to go where these men are going. And these men need to tell us what they are doing. Anyway, allow me to skip the session for Q&A since we have one more last presentation, and then now we can combine, we can have more ample time for a discussion for Q&A. We have the last presentation from Simon Tab. Simon? Is he here with us? He's online? Okay. So Simon is a data scientist from Ghana Statistical Services, and he was a member of the 2023 UN Datathon that won and developed the innovating solution to localize SDG indicators and computed a novel access to information index with Ghana as the use case. So Simon, please, the floor is yours to share this innovation solution for effective SDGs monitoring. You have got Simon.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope I can be heard. Hello?
Yes, you can. Yes, we can hear you.
Let me use this moment to appreciate the opportunity that has been granted to the team that participated and won the 2023, I beg your pardon, UN Datathon. This was a team from Ghana, the data science unit of the Ghana Statistical Service. We participated in Rwanda and won the 2023 UN Datathon. So we developed an innovative solution that focused largely on localizing sustainable development goal indicators and went ahead to compute an access to information index for every district in Ghana. Angela, I'm not sure if I'll have to project from my side or you can share screen from where you are. All right. Yes, thank you very much again. And also, as this is an opportunity where we have young statisticians in Africa together, let's use this moment to really appreciate the works that National Statistical Offices in Africa are doing. This is a good opportunity to say that Africa is not lagging so much in the data space. We're making a lot of effort to ensure that all NSOs within release quality official statistics. Now, largely, one thing we did was to ask ourselves a very simple question: whether local authorities, communities have access to information. Do they even know the state of sustainable development goal indicators in their various locality areas? So we made an effort to say that in our quest to achieve SDGs by 2030, it will be very important for us to be able to localize the estimations of the performance of these indicators by ensuring that we are really able to measure where these indicators are for every. Went ahead to ask a question that even instances where data exists on the measurement of these indicators at the local level, are the local people able to access it? And the question is no. So we're also saying that access to information is limited, not only in Ghana, but it is more of like becoming an African phenomenon. So there is the need for us to say that if information is not accessible, then it is as well as not existing at all. So what we did basically, if we are able to measure the indicators for each SDG indicator, then what happens if people are unable to access these indicators? So what we did was to estimate SDG indicators for a number of districts in Ghana for us to be able to see the district disparities that will be existing in Ghana. So we developed a solution that uses both traditional data and big data. And on that basis, we are making a point that in as much as we are making effort to track the performance of indicators, reliance on only traditional data sources at a point becomes problematic. And with the help of technology and innovations, we should be able to source data from big places like big data, using big data for our respective regions and districts to be able to measure the performance of SDG indicators. So we developed 3 simple solutions at a Datathon. And one of them was us making effort to localize the performance of these indicators. We also did a computation of access to information index for every district. And as we go through the solution, I'm going to highlight what exactly went into the computation of the indices, and then an interactive tool that will make the index accessible and adjustable. Please to the next slide. Yes, so if we look at this particular solution, The first maps on my left, we look at an indicator known as school enrollment for Ghana. And if you look at Ghana as a country, children of school-going age, we have 87% of them being in school. So we said, okay, if 87%, there's a need for us to identify districts in Ghana that are driving this achievement. And then we want to look at districts in Ghana where we are lagging in terms of school enrollment. So what we did basically was to disaggregate this indicator. Instead of measuring it just at a national level, let's do the disaggregate and begin to see what is happening within districts in Ghana. And interestingly, we're seeing that even though the national picture is 87%, we have some districts in Ghana that are doing lower than 40%. So it is important that for us to do proper targeting, we shouldn't focus on the national picture, but let us move below the national and do the disaggregate. And then targeting can be done for districts that are indeed lagging. The other one on my extreme right at the top bottom represent a result we did for using information to electricity coverage. So we use the nightlight data, which is a big data source, and then we also use the 2021 population and housing census for Ghana. And basically what we wanted to do was to determine areas in Ghana where electricity is on at night. So using big data sources, we are able to produce a replica of whatever the big data is giving us and whatever the traditional census is also giving us. So this justifies the need for us not to only rely on traditional data sources. The fact that if we intend to measure the performance of SDG indicators, we can also do so using big data sources. So we went ahead again to develop the access to information index. We have a lot of indicators that went into it. We wanted to look at the literacy rate of every district in Ghana. We also look at the access to information. We looked at school enrollment. We looked at access to electricity. And basically what we did was to bring in all these indicators and then weighting this indicator. And then we're able to tell that for every district in Ghana, this is the state of access to information. So if we go into that particular solution, we are able to track and determine where access to information is lagging in Ghana in terms of district. So what we did basically was to say that for us to be able to measure the access to information for every district in Ghana, it depends on how important each indicator is to that particular district. So for example, if I go to a district that is lagging in terms of access to electricity, if I go to a district that lacks in terms of access to internet, then how do I use an indicator that a district is doing to information? So if you look at the panel at the right bottom corner, it is actually, and you see score of population within 10 kilometers to school, the score of population within 5 kilometers, then we are looking at school enrollment, and then we are looking at access to electricity. And if I adjust any of these indicators, then access to information across all districts in Ghana is also going to be adjusted. If you give me the permission, I can share an interactive tool. So Angela, kindly allow me to share my screen, and then we can interact to clearly see how this particular tool behaves in terms of measurement of access to information and how interactive the tool is. So this is what we have. And if you look at the story map, this basically presents the solution that was developed by the team. And for the team, what we did was, as I indicated on earlier, to present these SDG indicators, trying to present the disaggregate instead of focusing largely on the aggregate. I beg your pardon, the internet is a bit slow here. So this is an interactive tool we developed. And this was the indicator I talked about that has to do with school enrollment for Ghanaian children. And if you move from national to regional, you realize that it is 7%, and each region, some regions are doing below 60, 55%. And if you move further to the district within these regions, you realize that the indicator measurement is very slow for some of the districts. So for purposes of targeting, disaggregation of these SDG indicators is the best. Then we moved ahead to also present some indicators about internet access. We move again to use the nightlight data. And if you look at this particular map, this presents information from the nightlight data, which is a big data source. And with the help of that data, we are able to see that there are and this a data, and if we do a plot also using the traditional census data, this is how the picture looks. So if you look at the two images side by side, you get to appreciate the fact that the concentration of lights being on at night is showing the same dynamics, just as where information exists. Yes,
Mr.
please.
Simon, can you please
yes,
just summarize the conclusion so that, because we have run out of time.
Okay, so let me quickly wrap up with the indicators that went into the computation of the access to information. I talked about education, energy access, and we added a deflator. We were using inflation, also the indicators that we use. It present. Okay, so there is a bit of a network challenge. So I was about showing us the two that actually present the indices and how it can be adjusted for us to clearly see how access to information differ across all the. I end here on the presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Simon, for the wonderful presentation, more especially indicating the importance of using data to achieve sustainable development. With respect of time, I will open 5 minutes floor for the questions and answers. Those who are online, you can raise your hand or open the mic so that you can ask the question. And those who are on the floor can just raise their hands. Yes, yeah, you can go.
Thank you. Mine is a comment. You got wonderful advice from the elders. These are relevant experience. I want to mention one thing. Particularly Sami actually took us to, rely on data processing. We've come a long way. I don't know if any of you have seen a mainframe. In those days, yeah. In those days, the key puncher was the most powerful person. He or she can tell you this will not work, or anyway, several iterations. The data processing person is a king and moody. Anyway, yeah, so it takes. I remember hearing this, we were trying to calculate chi-square using Fortran 4, not 7. Then it took us months to get it. I think 4 digits or something. Hey, you guys, you're lucky. This generation has all the technology. You press a key, it's there. So my advice to you is, be enlightened statisticians. Now, data processors are not there. You can combine both. So you can choose to learn what statistical concept, methodology, classification is behind each press of the key. If you're lazy, you press a key, you'll get the outcome, but you don't understand it. And now I want to say AI has brought wonderful things for statisticians. You can also get lost. Recently, I was working with a group of statisticians on imputations. And imputations, you have to go through a process. Now, you ask ChatGPT to do this. It gives you the specs and then the program in different softwares are SPSS, but unless you know it, the outcome will be garbage. So I want to alert you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yeah, you are speaking the truth, because nowadays we are transitioning, and with the implementation of AI, everything, like, people think that it has become easy. Like, we just ask it, do this, and then it produces, but then you don't know what it is, and you are not certain, because even the technology is being used by a human being. Like, you have to operate it after all. So it's better you also engage yourself in enlightening yourself with statistics use. Thank you very much. Okay, yes, I see my.
I think my part in short is this. One of the things that I thought in life, and when we go to Parliament, when all the sides of the House vote, there's only one party, which is the Statistics Party. And we have to unify Parliament, because you unify the country. That's the power that the statistician has. Always remember that is the power you hold, because the facts that we present have been processed appropriately. And of course, when people differ, they shouldn't be differing on the facts. They may differ on the deployment of their thinking around the facts. You hold a leadership position that brings peace to nations. The Statistics Commission, which we are meeting on today, and in New York next year in March, was the first technical commission to be created by the UN after the Second World War. And the Second World War was caused by imbalances, macroeconomic imbalances. Even the First World War, even the Third World War is facing the macroeconomic imbalances in the world. Statisticians have a very critical role in life, which is the holders of peace. Statistics is a conduit of peace. And it is something that has to be held with a lot of care. And that's why, even with information technology today, ChatGPT, you've got to be on top of that game. Finally, you should go and read Ian Hacking when he talks about quiet statisticians. They haven't created a new world, but they have created insights on how the world perceives and then acts. So you are the greatest theorists of change. But thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I would like to invite the Director General from Kenya to share his experience, a little bit of maybe just 2 minutes of his time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. I'll not take 2 minutes. You know, when you are with elders of this caliber, you really have to talk less. I really appreciate it, and you know, it gives me hope that beyond my directorship at the Bureau, then I would still be somebody. I thought I would be getting to the farm and dealing with a few things. But I can see that I'm very happy actually to see my seniors and mentors in this. So mine is actually very small. One is that I really do appreciate what young officers are doing. And I'm one fellow who has found it very easy to work with the youngsters. I remember in the last census of 2019 in Kenya, I was accused of leaning towards young officers. But you see, I'd looked at what they were able to do. They only needed guidance to deliver. And so some were waiting for my downfall, but I can tell you I seriously succeeded courtesy of the young ones. And therefore, that's a group that I support. Yes, I support you. Yeah, I support you fully. But I'm not happy with one thing. You know, the association is not moving. I don't know, because Dr. left the scene, because I know he was a great proponent of the young statistician, and I believe we should be able to revive it to a great extent. Maybe one of the reasons as to why maybe there could be a problem is the finances. And I'm just thinking that if we could, it's a wild thought, but if you could include the activities of young African statisticians in the NSDS, so that it could also attract some element of funding, then it will give some value, because the most important thing is funding. I'm very sure that in a forum like this, we would be having quite a number of them if there was a reasonable financial support. And because we are lacking that, and we depend on some support from a few institutions, we do not have the large numbers. So maybe we could start by looking at some of the areas that could propel the movement to a greater height. And that's what I'm suggesting. And because we're now doing our NSDS in Kenya, the KSDS, I'll make sure that if the forum is with me, then this is one thing that we are going to include there, so that we can look for funding for this team. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much for highlighting the importance of funding. Yeah, indeed, funding is a really problem. Like we can see here, we only have few youngsters. So if in case we had a lot of funding, we would have seen youngsters occupying this space, engaging. So yeah, without wasting much time, I would like to ask those who are online to complete a evaluation form. We've shared the link on the chat box for evaluation. It won't take much time, just maybe 5 minutes for the evaluation. And then, yeah, thank you very much. I will hand over to my moderator here.
Thank you very much, Nesco, for those and also DG for the guidance. And I hope that countries can also adopt this, so that next time when we come to meeting, we have more time. And yes, thank you very much for the elders. We have really learned. We always told, if you don't listen to your mother, but you're lost. Yeah, and we don't want to get lost. So before I conclude and wrap up the session, I would like to call the chair.
Thank you, Mrs. Moderator. I would just like to thank everybody here, especially our elders, for these great experiences that they have shared with us. Very insightful, and we will make sure to use the best of these insights. And I would like to let you know that it will not end here. We as a Takwimu will continue to seek your guidance to find a way to really have your a connection with you permanently. Something that we fail do in the past, and we will try our best to make that happen now going forward. So thank you very much, and thank all colleagues that were able to join us. We are very happy. We hope we will get your feedback, even if the session ended, for all the remaining activities. As you can see, we shared many things, and we really look forward your feedback on this. Just to conclude with a question I saw in the chat box, regarding the strategic plan, if you can share. Just let colleagues know that Takwimu has a website where you can find all of the information that we are producing. So please do not hesitate to go to the website and see the information. If you are not sure, or if you don't find anything you are looking for, please reach out to Takwimu. Takwimu@un.org, and then you get any response from us. Thank you very much.
Maybe I call in the secretariat, Ms. Angela, maybe to give us some few remarks. Angela, you have to tell us something.
No, so anyway, for me, mine will just be simple. I just want to say thank you, add my voice to all the participants, both in the room and virtual. We do appreciate your response to the invitation. It is unfortunate we didn't have much more time to really engage much more, but we still do appreciate that you came, and the opportunities still do exist. Reach out to us on emails. If you have questions, need for clarification, we're here to respond. I also want to give a special thanks to the elders. We must agree, of course, this event is unique because of their presence. The fact that they've shared just a snippet of what it is they have been through. And yes, we will seek you out more, so please do not hide from us. And you're also welcome anytime. And especially we will take on the offer that Mr. Lamindio has given for guidance. We will definitely utilize this one. Also, would like to thank the interpreters. Rarely do we get thanks, but because we have short, ideally we should have stopped at 5:30. Yeah, but we do appreciate and thank you for at least going us the extra minutes. The presenters who have mostly been the executive committee members, thank you so much. Our moderators as well. That's the entire committee. Yeah, we're grateful. It has been hard work, but we recognize that. Special mention to Mahmoud, who even brought us flags. Yeah, but we have taken note of the comments that have come through, especially regarding the recommendations that will be taken to StatCom. We'll look through them and see what it is we can incorporate before we present them to StatCom. Thank you so much and have a blessed evening.
Thank you.